What's up, guys? It's Mr. Kyle, Myers Mathematics, and today I want to talk about up to three questions you might need to ask in order to figure out what conic section you're dealing with. Sometimes they want you to know what kind of conic section it is, and you need to be able to figure it out pretty quickly. And there's a couple different things that you might have figured out so far, like, hey, hyperbola seems to be the only one with a minus sign. But sometimes if there's two minus signs, then it's not a hyperbola. So what do I do there? So I'm gonna give you three questions, and you might not even need to ask all three, but three questions tops that you'll need to ask, yes or no questions, to figure out what kind of conic section you've got. So the first question you want to ask is, are the x and y both squared? Are the x and y both squared? Really good question, because if they're not, right, so yes or no, if they're not both squared, and this is only dealing with the four conics, right, so out of the four conics, if they're not both squared, only one of them is squared, so then you have a problem. There you go. So you might not even need to ask three questions. You only need to ask one question. If that first question is no, then it's a problem. Okay, so if they are both squared, then the next question you want to ask is, do the x and y both have the same sign? I don't need to say both. Do the x and y have the same sign? The same sign. All right, and this is kind of what I was talking about earlier, because if the x and y are both negative, then you could just factor out the negative and then they both become positive, so you wouldn't have a hyperbola. But if the first one is negative and the second one's positive, if they have them out of order on purpose to throw you off, or if the first one's positive, the second one's negative, the x and y squareds, that is, to be precise, if the x and y squared have different signs, so if they have different signs, then we have a hyperbola. Do they have the same sign? No. If they don't, hyperbola, right? So if it's a parabola or hyperbola, you only need to ask up to two questions. And there you go. Now, last question. If they have the same sign, yes, then we ask one more question. And that last question is, do the x squared and y squared have the same coefficient? Okay, and what I mean by coefficient is the number in front of them, right? The number that is immediately to the left of the x and y squared, that is multiplied by the x and y squared. So if that number is, let's say 2, let's say it's 2x squared and 3y squared, then you don't have the same coefficient. If they're both 2's or both 5's or whatever, then they do have the same coefficient. Okay, so if yes or no. So if they have the same coefficient, then we have a circle. If they have a different coefficient, then we have an ellipse. Right? I don't need to move on to another question, because at that point, the yes and the no answers both tell me what kind of conic I would have. And there you go, parabola, hyperbola, circle, or ellipse. Right? So you only need to ask up to three questions to figure out what kind of conic you have. So if this video was helpful, give me a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in another episode.